There is a version of you that already knows how to endure. He is not loud. He does not perform strength for an audience. He simply moves through pain without asking it to leave first. Most men never meet him because they keep waiting to feel ready before they act like him. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Readiness never comes. It is built, one deliberate choice at a time, usually in moments nobody applauds. The Stoics understood this long before modern comfort convinced us otherwise. What follows are 5 shifts that forge that iron mindset, not motivation, but mechanism. And the 5th one changes how you see the other 4 entirely. Action 1. Own the first reaction. Every hard day starts the same way, not with the event itself, but with the half second before you respond to it. That half second is where most men lose before the day even begins. A delayed reply reads like rejection. A slow morning reads like failure. Traffic reads like the universe conspiring against your schedule. None of this is really happening to you. It's happening, and your mind is deciding what it means. Think about the last time something small ruined your entire afternoon. Was it the event, or was it the story you told yourself about the event? Most people can't separate the two. They believe their first reaction is the truth, when it's really just the loudest voice in the room. This matters because reaction, repeated enough times, becomes personality. A man who flinches at every inconvenience trains his nervous system to expect threat everywhere. Over months and years, that flinch becomes his identity: anxious, reactive, easily shaken. Nobody chooses that consciously. It's built by 10,000 unexamined half-seconds. Epictetus taught something that still holds under pressure today. It is not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. That single distinction is the hinge the entire iron mindset swings on. You cannot always choose what happens. You can always choose what you decide it means. Picture your reactions as a gatekeeper standing at the entrance to your mind. Every event knocks. The gatekeeper's job isn't to block the event, it's to inspect it before letting a story walk in and set up residence. Most men never install a gatekeeper. They let every knock become a resident. Here is the practical rule. Before you respond to anything that irritates you today, ask one question: is this actually a problem, or is this just uncomfortable? Discomfort passes, problems require action. Confusing the two is where most stress originates. But here's what nobody tells you about mastering your first reaction: it doesn't make life easier. It makes you painfully aware of how much energy you've been wasting. And that awareness is about to become far more expensive. Action 2. Protect where your attention goes. Once you stop reacting to everything, a strange problem appears. You start noticing how much of your mental energy was never yours to begin with. It was borrowed by notifications, opinions, comparisons, and conversations that had nothing to do with the life you're actually trying to build. Consider your average evening. You sit down to focus on something that matters: a goal, a skill, a relationship, and within minutes your attention has wandered to someone else's success, someone else's opinion of you, or a problem that isn't even yours to solve. This isn't a discipline failure, it's an attention failure. And attention, not time, is the real currency of transformation. Why does this happen? Because untrained attention follows stimulation, not intention. The brain is wired to chase whatever is loudest, newest, or most emotionally charged. Left unmanaged, this wiring will spend your entire life reacting to other people's priorities dressed up as your own. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, privately, as a reminder, not for an audience, that the mind takes on the color of its habitual thoughts. Repeat scattered thinking daily, and scattered becomes your baseline state. Repeat focused thinking daily, and focus becomes who you are. Think of attention like water poured onto soil. Pour it in 20 directions and nothing grows deep roots. Pour it consistently into one place, and eventually something breaks through the surface strong enough to withstand pressure. The practical shift is this: before you open anything, ask what you're feeding the life you want, or the distraction you're used to. Choose one priority each morning that gets your sharpest hour of attention before anything else touches it. How much of your energy today will be spent on things you cannot control, will never remember, and were never yours to carry? That question alone, asked honestly, exposes how much has been leaking without your permission. But protecting your attention only solves part of the problem. Because even a focused man can be undone in seconds, not by distraction, but by his own emotions when something finally goes wrong. Action 3. Master the moment before the outburst. Discipline and focus can carry a man for weeks. Then one bad moment, a betrayal, an insult, a plan collapsing, and all of it unravels in seconds. This is the part nobody warns you about. Emotional control is not tested during calm periods. It's tested in the 3 seconds after something goes wrong. You know this moment. Someone criticizes your work in front of others. A partner says something that cuts deeper than they intended. A goal you sacrificed months for falls apart over one bad decision that wasn't even yours. In that instant, the body wants to react immediately, raise the voice, defend the ego, retaliate. Most men obey that impulse without questioning it. Here's why this keeps happening. Emotional reaction is fast because it's ancient, built for physical danger, not modern inconvenience. But repeating that fast reaction in situations that don't require it trains the nervous system to treat every conflict like a threat to survival. Over time, this creates a man who is powerful in theory but explosive in practice, someone whose strength collapses under emotional pressure. Seneca, who studied anger more than almost any philosopher in history, observed that no other emotion does more damage while feeling more justified in the moment. That's the trap. Anger convinces you it's righteous while it quietly dismantles what you've built. Imagine holding a lit match near dry wood. The outburst is the flame. The wood is every relationship, every reputation, every ounce of trust you've built. One moment of unmanaged fire can undo years of careful construction. The practical tool is simple but demanding. When the outburst rises, delay the response by 10 seconds and ask, will this reaction serve the man I'm becoming, or just the ego I'm defending? 10 seconds isn't weakness, it's command. Are you actually angry at what happened, or are you angry that you weren't prepared for it? That question alone dissolves half the rage most men carry. But controlling emotion in the moment only manages the surface. Underneath every explosive reaction is a deeper question about who you believe you are, and that question is far harder to escape. Action 4. Build an identity that doesn't negotiate. Here is the deeper layer beneath every reaction, every distraction, every outburst. They all trace back to an unstable identity. A man who isn't sure who he is will constantly renegotiate his standards depending on the room he's in, the mood he's carrying, or the excuse available that day. You've felt this. You commit to training, to focus, to a version of discipline you promised yourself, and then a bad day arrives, and suddenly the commitment feels optional. Just this once becomes a phrase repeated so often it quietly rewrites who you are. Nobody plans to abandon their standards, they just fail to notice the 1,000 small negotiations that led there. This happens because identity is not declared once it's built through repetition. Every time you keep a promise to yourself under pressure, you cast a vote for the man you intend to become. Every time you break it, even quietly, you cast a vote for the opposite. Most men are losing this election without realizing they're even in it. The Stoics treated character as the only possession that couldn't be taken by circumstance. Wealth, health, reputation, all of it exists outside your control. But the choice to act with integrity when nobody is watching belongs entirely to you. That single area of control is where real strength is built. Think of identity like a spine, not a mask. A mask changes depending on the room. A spine holds you upright regardless of what room you're standing in. Most men are wearing masks and calling it character. The practical rule: choose one non-negotiable standard, a habit, a boundary, a discipline, and protect it even when it's inconvenient, even when nobody would know if you skipped it. That single unbroken promise becomes the foundation everything else stands on. Who would you become if your standards stopped depending on your mood? Sit with that question longer than feels comfortable. If this way of examining your own patterns is resonating with you, this is exactly the work Anonymous Achiever exists to support, turning philosophy into something you actually live, not just admire. But even an unshakable identity is incomplete without one final piece, the piece that makes everything before it actually matter. Action 5. Find what all of this was building towards. Here is what connects everything you've just learned. Owning your first reaction, protecting your attention, mastering your emotional outbursts, building an identity that doesn't negotiate. None of it means anything without a reason strong enough to justify the discipline. This is the piece most men skip, because it's the hardest one to face honestly. Discipline without meaning eventually collapses. You can force yourself through reactions, distractions, and outbursts for a while through sheer willpower. But willpower is a limited resource, and meaning is what refuels it. A man who is disciplined but doesn't know why will burn out exactly when it matters most. A man who understands what he's building toward can endure almost anything. This is where the previous 4 principles finally make sense together. Controlling your reaction protects your energy. Protecting your attention directs that energy. Mastering your emotion preserves what you've built with it. But identity and purpose are what give all of it a destination. Without this final piece, you're just a disciplined man moving in circles. Marcus Aurelius wrote his private reflections not to become famous, but because he understood something simple: a life without examined purpose eventually becomes noise, regardless of how much is accomplished within it. Wisdom, in the Stoic sense, isn't knowing more facts, it's understanding what actually matters and building your days around it. Picture a man rowing hard against a current with no destination chosen. He'll exhaust himself and end up wherever the water decides. Now picture that same effort aimed at a fixed point on the shore. Same strength, completely different outcome. The practical transformation is this. Define, in one sentence, the kind of man you're building, not what you want to achieve, but who you want to become regardless of outcome. Let every choice, every reaction, every disciplined moment serve that single sentence. This is the principle that was quietly running underneath everything else in this video. The iron mindset was never about being unshakable for its own sake. It was always about becoming someone worth protecting that discipline for. Every principle you just heard points back to one truth. Strength without direction is just noise, and direction without strength never survives contact with a hard day. You now have both pieces: the control to withstand pressure, and the clarity to know why it matters. That combination is rare, because most people only ever build one half of it. If something in this video shifted how you see your own patterns, write this in the comments. I don't negotiate with my weakness. Let it become a record of who you're choosing to be. If this is the kind of thinking you want more of, consider staying with Anonymous Achiever. The man who endures isn't the one who feels no pressure. He's the one who no longer negotiates with it.